This is one of my favorite songs that I listen to every morning to get me kind of hyped up. It's called Super Bloom by Mr. Wives. So if you're looking for a good like self-love, overcoming your challenges song, that's a really good one. Super Bloom by Mr. Wives. Hello, hello. Today was good. So Mondays are my day off from work. And I start every Monday morning off with a Zoom therapy session. So it's a great way to start, my day off. Hello. Hey, Alex. So yeah, every Monday I see my therapist, and then I go work out with my personal trainer and like run errands and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to all day, hence what I'm wearing right now. So I am just going to get started. I always record these and save them and post them later anyways. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm really excited about this Self-Worthy series. Self-worth, self-love, cultivating these different things is definitely something that I'm really passionate about. So with this series, I'm going to be deep diving into the pillars of self-worth, my experiences with them, and how to cultivate them. So what are the pillars of self-worth? Awareness, connection, forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, trust, respect, self-belief, value, and love. You can check out my link in bio that has my first 2 episodes, self-awareness and self-connection. But today we're going to be talking about self-forgiveness. So, forgiveness is often defined as the deliberate decision to let go of feelings of anger, resentment, and retribution towards someone you believe has wronged you. Sometimes it can be really easy for us to forgive others, but it's not always so easy to forgive ourselves. So learning to let go, move on, and forgive ourselves is really important for our mental health and well-being. So also, let's just be clear. Hey guys. So let's just be clear. With self-forgiveness, we're not condoning our own behaviors. We still have to hold ourselves accountable, like for our own bullshit. So forgiveness means that you accept your behavior, you accept what has happened, and you're willing to move past it and move on with your life without just like stewing in all these past events and hating on yourself for it. That can't be changed anyways. So self-forgiveness opens the door to change by releasing resistance and deepening your connection with yourself. So the 4 R's of self-forgiveness: responsibility, remorse, restoration, and renewal. So responsibility. So facing what you've done or what has happened is the first step towards self-forgiveness, but it's also the hardest because we don't want to admit things. We want to make excuses. We want to rationalize what we did or justify our actions in order to make them seem acceptable. But it is time for us to face the mistakes that we've made so that we don't get trapped in these shame cycles and keep repeating the same negative behaviors. So let's talk about remorse. And this is actually the area that I'm going to spend the most time on. So remorse. As a result of taking responsibility, you may experience a range of negative feelings, including guilt and shame. So these feelings can lead to positive behavior change if we accept responsibility and want to move on past our mistakes and move forward. Guilt implies that you're a good person that just did something wrong, made a mistake like we all do. But shame makes you feel like you're a bad person and you just undervalue yourself. So if you get caught in the shame cycle, this can bring up feelings of worthlessness, which can lead to addiction, shame, and aggression. Definitely have had experiences with all of those things. So understand that making mistakes and making like you feeling guilty does not mean you're a bad person. So shame hides beneath the surface of our everyday thoughts in our subconscious. And it also triggers the fight or flight response within our nervous system. So, which just elevates our stress, which elevates our anxiety, which can lead to depression, mood swings, a host of different things. So, it's an extremely debilitating emotional response that can lead to things like self-criticism, self-neglect, self-destructive behaviors, perfectionism, limiting beliefs of our own value, intense rage, acting out against society, and the cycles may continue. And of course, guys, sorry, I did not charge my phone, so I'm gonna have to hold it like this. Sorry about that. Okay, so self-forgiveness is essential if we wish to become more emotionally healthy and have more of a peace of mind. So the more shame you heal, the more you'll be able to see yourself more clearly, the good and the bad. And you'll be able to recognize and admit how you've harmed yourself and others. So your relationships with others can deepen and your relationship with yourself can improve if you learned how to practice self-forgiveness. So I want to take a minute to just kind of talk about like some of my experiences. So again, you can go back to episodes 1 and 2, where episode 1, I really talk a lot about my past and my upbringing. And I'll give you a little snippet right now if you're just joining me for the first time. But my father committed suicide when I was 7 years old. And I had, a lot of abandonment issues and self-worth issues because of that. And I also was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was younger, and I had to wear a back brace for 8 years. So I always just felt like out of place and like really awkward. And I just experienced a lot of like stress and shame and anxiety throughout my childhood. And honestly, up until about like 2 years ago when I like finally made some really drastic changes to my life, like enrolling in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to become a holistic health and lifestyle coach. And actually, on January 1st, I just celebrated my 20th month sober from alcohol and cocaine. So that was... my addictions definitely helped fuel that shame cycle that I was stuck in. So I would, drink all the time because I was stressed or I had social anxiety. So drinking and, would help, I thought, make me feel better. And then, it also led to doing coke and things like that. And I just got to a really bad place where my relationship was also, in jeopardy because of just my behaviors. And, I was a horrible partner to my partner because I was also horrible to myself. I wasn't able to be good to anyone else because I was just constantly up here, like the shit talking, you're a loser, you're like all of this stuff, like just not, showing myself any love or compassion. So after like a pretty intense like coke bender that I was on, I had an honest conversation with my partner who was, really obviously upset and didn't really know what to do and really wanted to get through to me. And I am just so grateful for him and how he is such an emotionally intelligent and supportive person. And he really kind of made something click for me. And he said, Hannah, I can forgive you all day long for your bullshit and your negativity because I love you, but we're never going to get anywhere unless you can forgive yourself. And I just get emotional about that because it was so true. Because he's like, if you don't forgive yourself and move on, you're going to keep continuing. You're going to feel bad. You're going to shame yourself. You're just going to keep beating up on yourself, which is going to in turn lead to self-sabotaging and self-destructive behaviors. So him really saying that really kind of flipped a switch for me. And you need to say that to yourself. And I'm here saying it to you now. We have to forgive ourselves in order to move forward. So compassion is the antidote for shame. Self-compassion acts to neutralize the poison of shame and remove the toxins caused by shame that appears in our physical bodies, in our minds, and in our souls. So we need to release ourselves from all the pain that is caused by shame and help facilitate the overall healing process. So repair damage and restore trust. So making amends is really important, a really important part of forgiveness, right? Even when the person you're forgiving is yourself. So just like someone, forgiving someone might be hard until you've done it made it up to you in a certain way, forgiving yourself might come a little bit easier when you feel like you've earned it. So one way to move past guilt is to take action to rectify your past mistakes. So apologizing for your behavior, fixing the mistakes, and it means that you won't have to wonder if you could have done anything more. So focus on renewal. So the final R, focus on renewal. So everyone makes mistakes and has things that they feel sorry or regretful for. Falling into the trap of self-hatred or pity can be damaging and make it difficult to maintain self-esteem and motivation. So forgiving yourself requires a way to learn from your experience and grow as a person. To do this, you need to understand why you behaved the way that you did and why do you feel guilty. What steps can you take to prevent the same behavior in the future? You may have messed up, but the learning experience can help make better choices in the future. So when we ask forgiveness from others, it usually requires a conversation, right? Someone has to say you're sorry, maybe tell their side of things. That wasn't my intention, but here's kind of what happened. But it normally requires some level of interaction and conversation. So when we are practicing self-forgiveness, we have to do the same with ourselves. You have to have a conversation. You have to sit with yourselves. Maybe journal, maybe I talk to myself in the mirror all the time. And we have to have more positive self-talk because again, your thoughts are energy that lives beneath your subconscious and drives your behaviors. So things that you can say to yourself and that I've said to myself in the past, I release the heavy burden of shame, guilt, self-hatred, and self-judgment. I let go of all the urges to criticize myself. I am at peace with myself and I am capable of loving who I am. I will let go of self-judgment and self-shame. I will treat myself with respect and kindness today and every day. Self-forgiveness is a choice. It is a gift of freedom that I give myself. I exchange shame and anger for self-love and self-compassion. So that's what I have for you guys today. Again, I am so excited that you guys are hopping on and joining me. So next week, I am going to be talking about, acceptance. So I'll be going live again next Sunday. And then the following week, I'm going to be going live on Monday again because I've been picking up shifts at the health clinic that I work for here in Chicago, Aligned Modern Health. Again, if you have missed my first 2 episodes, you can check them out in my link in bio. I would love for you guys to like send me a DM or anything like that, just with some feedback. I've already been getting some really great feedback already, so I appreciate everyone who's kind of, reached out to me. But again, I always record these so that anyone can watch them later, but doing this live is something that is a little bit more challenging and vulnerable and is definitely outside of my comfort zone. So it's just something that I wanted to continue to challenge myself to do and get better. And I'm just here, like, as you can tell, like, I'm in a hat and a hoodie and I haven't showered since my workout. Like, I'm not here to I'm here just to be like my honest, true self and have these honest conversations about my past. And I'm really, excited to share all this with you. And I'm just really excited that the more and more that I do this live series, but also the more like that I just practice the healing process, I'm becoming, more myself, and I'm not afraid to put it out there and, be who I am. And it's just such a freedom and it's so comforting. Like, I literally, like, everything that I do in a selfish way is for myself. I don't do anything that I don't want to do because I create boundaries and I put myself first and I give myself and my health all of the attention that it deserves. And if there's anyone out there that, sometimes being your true authentic self can make others uncomfortable because they're not okay with being their true authentic selves, and they might have to learn how to do that. But when I'm my true authentic self, like, it just makes me feel so relaxed and gives me so much freedom. So I really hope that I can inspire others and teach others, some ways to do the same. So thank you again for joining me tonight, guys. And I will see you next Sunday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. Have a great night.